Hi there. I am going to share with you an example from the timed practice in C15 that I think really had a solid chance of getting a 6. I'm going to tell you why I think so. I'm not a reader, but I've done the same work that you've done, plus a bunch of other workshops on how to determine what a 6 is going to look like. And this is an example that I think might have earned that 6. I am sharing Cherise Burrell's essay. She has given me permission to do so, and she's given this to all of us so we can kind of learn. So thank you, Cherise. Thank you publicly. If you have a chance to give her a pat on the back or a put up, either in the comments thread or somewhere publicly, just go ahead and let her know what a great job she did, because I certainly did. I took off. She put in her app ID, AP ID. I took it off just so that for security purposes. Now, let's read this, and I also gave you the PDF on the assignment so you can read it closely yourself. First, in his following excerpt, The Rise of Silas Latham, William Dean Howells uses literary elements such as selection of detail, tone, and style to portray the challenges two sisters have connecting to the outside world. So we're going to see some literary elements that talk about the central idea of the two sisters having challenges connecting to the outside world. That's what we're expecting to see. We're seeing her line of reasoning in this. Let's take a look at the rubric on this. The rubric says, responds to the prompt with a defensible thesis and a defensible interpretation of the passage. It is defensible. It is a clear thesis. She makes a claim. One of the things the readers say, give us a claim. Do we have one? No question, there's a claim right there. So she gets the point. Now let's get into why I think this is a 4 based on this rubric. Let's take a look at that. Penelope and Irene are both isolated from society. Despite this similarity, both sisters have their differences when it comes to handling their situation. So she's highlighting a contrast between characters here. For Irene, she spends most of her time dressing, quote, stylishly and fashionable, whereas Penelope, on the other hand, doesn't. Penelope has a much, quote, simpler taste, quote, which emphasizes the contrasting values between the two. She actually called it contrast. So the only thing I would have done differently is I would have said the author uses contrast. That's one thing I would have changed, but there's no question she's showing us the how the author does it. She's showing us what the author does, contrast, how using the evidence, and then she talks about how that connects to her main idea. The overhead idea is that they are still isolated and able to embed themselves into society. So the what, the contrast, the how, the stylishly, simpler taste, contrasting values, and connection to the big idea. Now, next one, sisters' isolation, inability to embed into society, connects back to the top, extends to the rest of their family. The two and their mother would take long naps every day, selection of detail, and sit for hours together minutely discussing what they saw out the window. The diction choice here uses, I would use selection of detail here, but sets up a picture for readers to visualize the three bonding for countless amounts of time. Diction also emphasizes the type of bond the family has. It's so strong that it comes out as a bit unusual. We'll get this sense from words such as long and hours or long hours. All right, so that's another detail. We got the what, we got the how, we got the why. Keeps connecting back up. Third effort at this. She takes 3 whacks. Remember, 2 is going to hit you over to probably get you the point. 3 is where she goes. Additionally, the Lathams had this, quote, skill and courage to make themselves noticed. However, they are occasionally the eldest sister in her, quote, self-guided search for self-improvement would try to step out of the comfort zone their comfort zone and attend church lectures. There were other times when she would try to communicate with boys from the dancing school, but unfortunately she scared them away. The author's decision to include these interencounters highlights the struggle and challenges the sisters face from living an overly sheltered life. Again, takes these details and shows how that shows the overly sheltered life. However, towards the end of the excerpt, and this is where I'm going to show you she actually crosses into that extra point for sophistication. The readers are telling us that one of the biggest ways to get the 6th point, that sophistication point, is to show the line of reasoning. It's one thing, then another thing, then another thing. Not here's just 3 ideas. 3 ideas may get you into 4 or 5 on the rubric, but if you can really line up a line of reasoning, you've got a shot at a 6. And so towards the end of the excerpt, beginning, middle, end, remember C11, Irene was able to form some sort of individualism at the end, and she gives some details around that. And then, just to punch it up, she puts in a conclusion. She had time. She tried to write herself a conclusion here. Your conclusion is not the strongest in the world. I have never seen anything in the rubric that says, write me a good conclusion. When we're working on our essays, and when you take Lit and Lang next year, we're going to work on how to write really strong conclusions. It's one of the things that it kind of cost us by having lost the time that we lost. But in the meantime, I'm just telling you right here, the ending of the story, she writes herself, being able to detach yourself from an unhealthy situation, be able to cultivate your own personality and identity. There are several highlights in this excerpt that show the challenge the two sisters face as a result of having an unbalanced relationship between their family and society through the use of selection. Notice that she continues to do that. She continues to talk about tying it back up to the main idea. So let's take a look at the rubric. Provide specific evidence to support all claims. She does that. And commentary. She has commentary on every one. Consistently explains how the evidence supports a line of reasoning. There was a beginning, a middle, and an end, a line of reasoning. And explains how multiple literary elements or techniques in the passage connect to the main idea. And that she absolutely did. That is absolutely why she got a 4. And she developed a complex literary argument, responses that demonstrate sophistication of thought, or a complex literary argument by either identifying or exploring the complexities or tensions within the selected work. She did that when she talked about the tension between the girls, and that one of the girls is doing it by turning in and the other girl is doing this by turning out. And that contrast shows the complexities in the relationship. Or illuminated the student's interpretation by situating it within a broader context. She actually does that a little bit because she talked about the daughter who had tried to have these encounters with these other boys from the dance class, and it didn't work, which shows how she's not fitting in. So broader context. Alternative insert selection, she didn't do that, but she didn't have to. You have to do something on that list, not all 4. And playing a style that is consistently vivid and persuasive. I felt that hers was vivid and persuasive because of the way she weaved in the evidence in the middle of her reasoning. So those things are why I would say she got at least 2, if not 3 of the points under sophistication. And to get this point, you have to get 1 of them. So you're looking at one that I'm going to say has a strong chance at a 6. So congratulations, Charisse, on a fantastic essay. And thank you for letting us use yours. And the rest of you, I hope this helps in terms of how to put together a persuasive essay. Just one more essay for us to look at and kind of a bonus for you. Thanks so much. And good luck.